Hello everyone, we're back with the Daily Kerbal, and I may be going crazy because I'm starting to think that we should go to the moon. I picked up a contract for us to perform an orbital rendezvous. Basically, that means we gotta get two ships close to each other in orbit from two separate launches. And I was kind of thinking, as long as I'm doing this, I might as well see if I can go to the moon. More than that, I think we might even be able to land there. We earlier unlocked the Mark 1 lander can. This will fit only a single Kerbal in it, and I'll admit that there are numerous problems with the ideas that I'm toying with right now, but anyway, this is probably going to be something of a longer episode, just because, well, if what I'm thinking is actually something that could come to fruition, then, well, you know what? We're probably going to do it in separate episodes. Remember, space exploration is tedious, so, and it's only going to get worse from here. I'm going to design a small vessel that I think can land on the moon. From lunar orbit, mind you. I'm going to do this Apollo program style. I'm going to carry a landing module with us to the moon, and I'm going to let it fly there. I might not go entirely Apollo. I might not actually have the landing craft itself be made of several stages, but we will see. Once we're actually in lunar orbit, I don't think that landing requires all that much fuel, and I don't want to build a tower, just because if you build something that's, very large vertically, then it makes it all that more difficult to land it. So let me think about this. It's about as large as I'm willing to risk. And a Terrier should be more than enough to put this thing down up there. Now the question is that enough? Is that all that I want it to be? If I then place the landing gears on the side of this, say 4 of them, yeah, that's that is scary. That is straight up scary. So, how can I make this a bit better? How could I make this a bit better? Oh, well, geez. I'm being an idiot. First of all, we finally made enough money to upgrade this thing. Forget the stupid part limit. I'm not doing that anymore. And that means now we can pretty much just, ignore all that stupid 30 parts crap and go up to 225 now. And I think, considering that stupid 30 part limit that we've had up to this point, we've done pretty well, honestly. Okay. Okay, here's what I'm thinking. Because I actually do want more stuff in between that. I'm thinking that I want to put like a reaction wheel underneath there. And in fact, maybe even a science pod there. And then I put the thruster down there. And then maybe we could actually have the fuel tanks mounted radially on the side. Like that. Could even lower them a bit. And this is for takeoff, right? In space it won't matter, but once we're actually flying, it will. Put those up there. And then put the landing gears on. That looks like something that can land stably. Now the question is, does fuel crossfeed work like this? So I'm actually going to start this extended like that, and I'm going to call this the one lander. Small craft for landing on the moon from lunar orbit. Save it. I'm going to put this out on the launch pad. I'm just going to perform a quick test to see if this works. The engine is burning. And it is burning fuel. Okay, so radially mounted fuel tanks do in fact count towards the engine that they're attached to. Okay, that's good. And I do think that this won't interfere with the science bay working either. So that's good. Now let's mount a couple science thingies on the side of this. Thingy number 1, thingy number 2, and a Miscaristry goo canister too. Yeah, sure. Yeah, place that there. Now, another important thing that we're going to need on this is, because we're going to be performing docking with it afterwards, right? We're going to need some monopropellant fuel tanks. And some monopropellant engines. It's a good thing I got rid of that part limit, huh? Okay, so the idea behind this is that I want the craft to be able to use these monopropellant engines to push itself whichever way it has to go, right? It's fairly simple. In fact, I think that this one? Yeah, we don't even need that one. Because this still covers all the directions. Yeah, that's fine. And the reaction wheels will help us rotate if we have to. So that's fine. Okay, these can start retracted. And now the question is, if we can put this into orbit. We should be able to put this into orbit, no problem. And, still have all of its fuel on board. So let's work on that. First, let me put some... Alright, there we go. Put some monopropellant fuel tanks on it too, maybe not 4 of them. But although we can place it in there, shouldn't cause much drag. Yeah. So there's our monopropellant. That's what we need to use these small engines, by the way. That's what the crew cabin itself does have monopropellant fuel in it, but 15 is, I mean, might as well have some more in there. Okay. This thing is already costing as much as most of our spacecraft did in general. For stage 2, there's our adapter. Some of those are going to put in a large vacuum engine. Might not even actually need that much fuel, but it's okay. It's okay to experiment. The game pretty much even kind of demands experimentation. This thing is extremely non-aerodynamic, and we do not yet have the option to put fairing around it. So, well, click, click, and this is going to be our launch stage. skip around the bottom. Maybe, again, we don't need that much fuel in it. 75% that much fuel. There we go. And then this one on there. These two can launch simultaneously. These two engines activate simultaneously too. That's good. And then just to make sure that we get some lift off the ground, so I can use this liquid fuel engine at a little bit higher altitude. Let's put maybe 4 solid fuel boosters on the bottom, just not the largest ones, but maybe these ones. 4 of them firing simultaneously should be fine. Let's fix up the aerodynamics. Like that. And let's even put some on the fuel boosters themselves. I'm feeling good today. Okay, what am I missing? I know I'm missing something. Power. Oh my goodness, yeah. I'll place 4 batteries on this like that. Power is definitely going to be a factor here. I'd rather not. Communication. Communication is another thing that we should add. Place one of these antennas. 1 is enough, thank you. Like that. There. Alright. Okay. Are we good to launch? I think we're good to launch. So who's going to pilot this? We'll put Jeb in the landing capsule for now. He's going to take it out, and we're just going to try and get this thing into orbit. Should work out just fine. And I want to get out to orbit with preferably no fuel used from these tanks. That's how we want to do this. Save it. Save it again after I fix the staging, and launch. Pre-flight checklist, make sure everything is set as we need it, and let's go. Fairly slow launch, more or less what we expected. Oh my goodness, look at that. Yeah, smoke relieving behind. Oh man. We're not speeding up very much. Not necessarily a bad thing, but I do wish we were going a bit faster. Let's see if this helps. We're going. Let's go to maximum thrust. Nope, we're still slowing down. We're probably going to have to replace those we're going to have to replace those solid fuel boosters with heavier ones. I mean, we might still be able to make it to orbit. You never know. Oh my god, these winglets are just so solid. Those other ones that we use, they flapped us around like... I don't know. This is so much easier. Just tiny little course alterations. Those are the fuel boosters crashing back down. I'd like the orbit to be equatorial, if at all possible. We're going way too slow. Don't even have an APWEPS over 70,000 yet. I'll keep pushing it, see how far it can go. And if it doesn't work out, then we'll try again. This is our only objective for today, is to get this thing out into orbit. we're gaining some decent speed right now. Separate. In the Apollo program, pretty much all of these were separate tests. The stuff that I am all doing in one go right now, which is assembling the rocket in space and then traveling to the moon with it. All of this stuff was done by NASA one by one. In fact, the first time they actually took a landing craft to the moon, it didn't land. It just flew above the surface. Right, it went out there to scout out the area. And that's the thing about Kerbal Space Program. I think this is what the developers meant when they said that space exploration is, conquering space has never been this easy. It's, I get the luxury of, reverting flights and not having to worry about, whether or not the parts will work. This is one of the reasons that NASA did all that was because they had to make sure that the parts that they were taking up there worked. When they were, the first time they took one of these LEMs into space, it just stayed out in orbit. LEM is Lunar Excursion Module. They actually ditched that name after a while and just called it the Lunar Module. But they took it out into space. And then first they had to test the new life support backpacks that they had on board, right? To see if those worked. And if those worked, then they had to see if the Lunar Module would fly on its own. They had to take it, detach it from the command pod after they docked with it, obviously. Detach it from the command pod, and then take it 100 miles or something away from it, and then bring it back, and then dock with it. So they did all that, and that was one space flight. That was Apollo, give me a minute, Apollo 9, I believe. Just for the purposes of testing the lunar landing module. I could still make it to orbit. If I cut the engine right now and let us go a little closer to apoapsis before I burn the rest of it. Right. So again, and then the next one that they sent out, the next one that they put in the space program, that one just went to the moon, did a circle or two there down by the surface to scout out possible landing sites, and then go back. I'm going to do all this in a single flight. And again, my biggest luxury, I think, well, I have two big luxuries. One of the luxuries is that I don't have to worry about the astronauts' needs, right? That's one thing that the game doesn't account for, is stuff like, do you have enough oxygen on board? Do you have, how long have your astronauts been in outer space? Are your astronauts healthy, right? So many Apollo missions ended up having to be, were complicated by the fact that one of their astronauts got sick, started vomiting up in space. I don't have to worry about that. And the other thing I don't have to worry about is, are the parts going to work? Because if the parts work, then that's the first thing you have to be sure of. If you start burning your engine, is the engine going to burn, right? Okay. Now here's the thing. I've been recording for under 20 minutes, just under 20 minutes right now, so I actually think that I'm just going to go ahead and, make this maybe like a 40-minute episode. It shouldn't take us much longer to construct a craft that'll go out to, to dock with this thing. And let's just do it. Let's complete the rendezvous. Let's complete the docking. Let's do all that. And then I might even be able to just head back to the Space Center and complete the contract, and maybe then pick up the contract to land on the moon. That'd be pretty cool. So anyway, we're going to leave this guy up in orbit for now. There's still fuel in here. I might as well even keep that there too. Let's go back to the Space Center. And let's start construction on the craft that we're going to take up there to dock with them. This part worked out pretty well for us. So I'm going to take this off and just kind of set it aside. I'm going to toss this. I'm going to bring up the command pod again. This is the Mark I command pod as always. And then instead of a parachute on the top of it, this time we are going to be placing a Clampotron docking port Junior. This is a small size docking port. That's what we're going to need to connect with them. Now once we get back, or this is the pod that's going to take us back home, but I also obviously don't want to leave Jebediah up there. I don't think a lander can... excuse me. I don't think a lander can is strong enough to survive re-entry into Kerbin. So I'm going to, the same way that Apollo did it, I'm going to put everybody back in the command pod. And our command pod's going to be a little less pretty than theirs. This is why, this is the reason that I wanted to have a 3-man crew pod when I first go to the moon, so that this is not a problem. Because I don't want to leave an unmanned vessel up in space, a vessel without a pilot. Because I do want to have to dock with it, and it might be necessary to have a pilot on the other one, making sure that the vessel is stable. But anyway. Alright. So that's it for this. Now, survivability, obviously. So... place a parachute, radial parachute over there, communication dish over here, and that should be fine for that. Everything else we'll place, on the bottom. Okay. And then engines. We're probably going to need a few more tanks of fuel than we had last time. I'm kind of going to go, similar to how we did it with the other one. Place some more fuel tanks on the outside. That looks kind of ugly. Let's bring them back close together. Might even place these on... Yeah, I might even place those on radial decouplers, so that we can jettison the empty fuel tanks when we're done with them. It's so nice to not have part limits being something that I have to worry about. Okay. Then the Terrier engine on the bottom. We might even want a slightly more powerful engine on this, because it is going to be, we're going to be pushing this and the weight of the landing module with us too. Do I want to take another one? Do I want to risk like a swivel? Let's try it. I'm going to take, the last engine that we're going to be using is going to be the swivel. Okay, let's take a look at some of these numbers, okay? See if I can interpret this. So, in vacuum, we got 215 kilonewtons worth of thrust. And the consumption, 7.536 seconds maximum oxidizer and 6.16 per second maximum liquid fuel. Whereas the Terrier does almost a quarter thrust, and it does it at roughly a quarter fuel taken in. Huh. Interesting conundrum. I'm also thinking that these, yeah, okay, I have to enable crossfeed. I make sure that crossfeed is enabled so the fuel can move through it. That's important. Well, we'll try this. It's the problem, we're not going to get chances to revert if this fails. If the engine is not enough to get us there, then, well, we're kind of screwed. we're gonna, in order to kind of, you know, or no, just to kind of help stability here, let's put 2 more fuel tanks on like that, and then that should ease my troubles somewhat. Okay. Also monopropellant fuel tanks. Let's place 2 of those there. And then command and control. Yes. Yes, did it place what it did? Okay, and then here. That covers those 3 directions. Now we just need one that goes like that. And one that goes like that. Gonna have to rotate it properly. There. Okay. It's not entirely centered. Let's fix that too. There we go. Okay. Oops. No, you're fine there. You're fine. And let's actually place 4 of them up here too. Like that. Okay. In case we needed to perform the docking maneuvers with this ship. Should be there too. Battery. Let's put 2 batteries on. Just in case, and then that's going to be it for that. Oh my goodness, is this not the ugliest creation you've ever seen? Well, this was enough last time, but I do believe this craft does way more, so I'm switching these out for the bigger ones. Let's just, you know, let's not risk it. And then also, because this was a problem last time, I'm going to use these struts to stabilize these things and keep them from wobbling around up there. Okay. Winglets. Sweet. It's a monstrum. But you know what? I think it'll work. Do that. We decouple that, and then this engine fires. This is very confusing right now. So this is good. This and this is good. This is not. Move that up. This is good. This is good. This is not good. This is also not good. So like that. Okay. When this decouples, those 2 don't have to decouple. Those 2 stay there. That one and that one. Then we have these 2 at a separate stage. When you know we run out of fuel in those tanks. And then the final decoupler and the parachute are also 2 separate stages. There. And this is going to be Munlander command. Is command 2 M's? I think it is 2 M's. Whatever. Munlander command pod. Alright. And of course, no, not you, Bill. Valentina, you're taking this one. And we're also going to take Bob with us. We can carry a total of 3 people on this vessel. So that includes Jeb, who's already up there, right? And having a scientist right now, I think, is what's more important. Okay, let's do it. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Well, problem easily solved. Or not. Okay, well, looks like weight is now a problem. I guess it's a problem that we can solve by doing this. Forgive me for that. I was not expecting, you know, after everything that we've done, I did not expect weight to be something that would keep us down. Because weight, unfortunately, right, it's not a factor of the vehicle assembly building. It's a factor of the launch pad. that still good? Yes. 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 Crew's still correct? Crew's still correct. Okay, let's go. Moon, I'm coming for you. Didn't put any of the struts on there, but you know what? I think we'll be fine. Throttle up and go. Even slower launch than before. We might actually have some problems with this. Yep, definitely going slower than we were before. But we managed to achieve orbit last time, so it should do it. I'm also going to rename this vessel. I'll rename it once they connect up top. Because this is still technically part of our Orion series of ships, right? So this is going to be Orion 2. Gravity turn. Oh my god, we're wobbling. Yeah, this is a less structurally sound vessel than the first one was. Those are our solid fuel boosters crashing down to the ground. Slowly try to conserve fuel with that. Well, at least we're not going to burn up. Not going too fast, right? Oh my god, the wobbles. I'm also noticing another problem right now. That is that I don't have the ability to plan the flights. We're going to have to spend some money on upgrading. We're not doing as well as that one was. Let's see if we can make it. And here's the thing, we can actually afford to use some of the fuel in the final stage here because there is still some fuel left in the big pod of the lander, and we can transfer that. That's bust. It's pretty much bust at this point. Yeah, that's not going up fast enough. I was too greedy with the gravity turn. Might have still worked out, honestly. Might have still been able to establish orbit, but I was turning too fast. Yeah. That was a pilot error. Alright, well, I'm going to cut the episode here then, I think. I will redo this launch, maybe, see if I can't get it done once or twice. I mean, it's not going to be very exciting. And the next, well, quote-unquote, exciting thing that's going to happen is me trying to dock these vessels, especially if I can't, I'm going to leave those two on the launch pad, especially if I can't, you know, manage to cough up the sums to upgrade this. Well, I'm gonna go, you know, do some administration and see if I can't figure out a way to get this done. Thanks for watching, everybody. Hopefully next time I'll get to show you guys my super sexy docking skills. See you next time. Bye-bye.